Hello everyone, welcome back. It is another beautiful spring day out here, and if you look behind me you probably see Rebecca and the dogs. She has been on a fishing frenzy here lately. She has been trying to fish every day for like a half an hour to an hour before she takes a shower and then goes into work. So I haven't got any fishing in. She has outfished me for the year for sure. She's caught way more fish than I have this year. And hopefully I'll catch up here soon and get some time to fish. But right now today I thought I'd go over some of the stuff that we have purchased over the last couple of months. We've purchased quite a few things to try to help us achieve our goals this year and kind of hopefully help us on some of the things we're trying to get done. So let's go ahead. I'll show you all the things that we've bought and how they're gonna help us out. Well, it looks like she ended up catching one there. There's another one on her list of being caught. Looks like a bass. So yeah, one of these days I'm gonna have to catch up with her. The dogs are really loving the fishing. They're intrigued by it, and the bad thing is we actually have had some we've had the pond. I think the pond is rolled over, so basically it does that twice a year. The way I understand it is, like in the winter time the bottom of the pond is warmer and the top of the pond is cold, and then it rolls, and then in the summertime the top is warmer and the bottom's cold. And we've had some dead fish around the edge of the pond. We've probably seen 20 or 30 dead fish around the edge of the pond, and the dogs keep grabbing them and they keep bringing them up and setting them on the porch. And I think the only reason they're doing that is because she's teaching them about fishing, and that they're really intrigued with all these fish. But let's go ahead and I'll show you the things that that we purchased, and let's go. The camera's rolling. You can show it the. Look. I know. She's like, I don't have my makeup on and I haven't got ready. But yep. Yeah. That's what she's been catching. It's a bunch of bass that look about that size. That's probably about a 14-inch bass, somewhere in there. So.
So what do you want me to do? You want me to catch him and keep him?
You can throw him back. That way I can catch him later, and I can try to catch up with you since you're out fishing me.
Yeah. There's an egg.
So this here is some Premier One electric poultry netting. I've already got the exact same roll of this. I've got it up front with the billy goats, and it's keeping them in right now. That's what's fencing them in. And my plan was originally to get some fencing done around there and then use the electric netting on our meat chickens out in the pasture to go around the chicken tractor and to kind of protect them from any predators. But since the electric netting's still up there with the billy goats, I had to end up purchasing another roll. So this is the exact same roll. It's like a 164-foot long roll. It's got the double spikes, and it's the exact same as what I've already got. So I went ahead and purchased one of these, but I ended up getting something else that I hadn't got before. Let's get it out. So I ended up buying a solar fence charger from Premier One. This is the IntelliShock 60. It is a 0.6 joule electric fence charger. It has a solar panel here that you can adjust for the time of the year, for the angle of the sun. It's got a battery box down here with a battery in it, and then it has, you know, the fence charger in there. And that's how you can use this to electrify that poultry netting. And the fence charger that I have right now, it's actually I got it plugged in to an outlet, and I don't have any outlets out in the pasture, so I really needed some type of way to electrify this poultry netting without having an outlet nearby. And that's where this solar charger is going to this is where this is going to come in a lot handier. And the size of this one will do 3 sections of this poultry netting, and this is a 4-foot tall poultry netting. And so I've got two of them right now, so I can always still buy one more and run it off of this charger. And that all depends on what type of netting you get. If you get goat and sheep netting, there's actually less strands, and I think you can do like 5 bundles or something with this charger. So it all depends on what type of netting you have, on how many you can do off of your charger, off your fence charger. So I think this is going to work out great. I'll be able to put the chickens on pasture. I'll actually be able to put the goats, I can move them around on pasture as well and try to get them to eat more grass than hay. And I think that's going to help us out quite a bit. So one other thing I've got here on the porch that was delivered, I didn't really mean to talk about this one, but it was sitting here. This is the landscape fabric, or the woven weed barrier that we use in the garden. This is a 4-foot wide roll. It's 300 foot long, and we'll use that to cover the ground in the garden, and we'll make holes in it to put our plants. It'll basically make it so we don't have really hardly any weeding to do, and this barrier will actually help keep the moisture in the ground, and you'll have to do a little bit less watering as well. So this will be really handy in the garden. So it lasts several years. So what I have left over from last year plus this roll, I should have enough to get the whole garden covered this year, and it'll be a lot easier not having to weed and water as often. So last year we raised 2 feeder pigs, and I think we got 1 deer during the hunting season, and we took those to the butcher to be processed. Now I have butchered a deer in the past, and I think we'd like to take on maybe a little bit more of that role as we progress and do more of the butchering and more of the food processing. Now in the past we've used our kitchen knives, and our kitchen knife set, even though it looks nice, is probably not that high quality steel and not that good of knives. So I wanted to get some knives that were more considered a brand that's used for butchering, a little higher quality. So I looked online, and what I came up with was Dexter Russell knives. They seem to be pretty common, and I ended up buying 4 of them. So the first knife I ended up buying was a fillet knife. We have a fillet knife right now, and we use it all the time, and I thought maybe I'd just go ahead and get a better fillet knife. But you can see that it has a nice white handle. It's a fairly thick handle where you can get a good grip on it where your hand won't slip off. But this is a 7-inch fillet knife. The next knife I got was a 6-inch deboning knife. This is a flexible deboning knife. It's made to flex, so it can bend kind of around the bones and help kind of get as much meat out of the animal as possible. And I think that'll come in handy. I haven't had one of those before. And the next knife is more of a butchering style knife, I guess you could say. I think this is about an 8-inch knife. It's a little bit thicker knife, so you can kind of get through some larger portions of meat with that. So I think that'll come in handy on larger animals. And then I got the nice little bitty paring knife. I think this will come in handy. Use a paring knife a lot. And even when you're butchering chickens, a little knife like this can be pretty handy in the butchering process of chickens. So a lot easier to carry, on those smaller animals, you only really need a little knife like this. So one other thing we ended up getting, we did buy a meat grinder. And so we have a nice meat grinder now. I've never had one before. We had a hand grinder in the past that they had to crank by hand, and then we used one on the KitchenAid mixer. So now we have a nice true meat grinder, and then we ended up buying an attachment so that we can process our tomatoes using the meat grinder as well and speed up that process. So how many you caught so far?
7.
All bass?
Yep, all bass. Same size as the first one.
Yeah, we had a pretty good sized meal then if you would have kept them all.
I had like 1 bluegill, I think, that got off the hook before it got it up.
Yeah. So these are homemade brats. So we made these out of one of the pigs that we butchered last year. So that reminds me of one more thing that we bought that we have new, and that is this freezer right there. So our last freezer went bad, and we caught it fairly early. Everything, it got down to like 28 degrees. Everything in here was thawing out, so we were able to transfer some of the stuff into this freezer. Went and bought a freezer at a local store and brought it over here. So got everything swapped over without really losing any food. So we took the opportunity to buy a bigger freezer. So this one's bigger than our last one. I don't know if you remember last year, we had both of these full after we butchered the pigs. So now we actually got some space in here. So we actually have one full shelf left in here. But most of the food, 95% of the stuff in here is all food we grew on our property. And this was just the pigs that we butchered. And you can see now, it was all the way to the top where you could barely shut it. So you can see now that we're getting most of the pig ate up. So getting some freezer space because we're going to need it once we butcher those chickens. So one of our goals this year is to cut our hay field and bale it for the first time. But I was missing one piece of equipment, and that was a hay wagon. So we did find this on Facebook Marketplace. We bought it about a month and a half ago, and it was about an hour away. So when we drove that back home, 25-30 miles an hour, it took a couple hours to get it back home. But this front tire up here it ended up blowing out, ended up shredding that tire. So you can see that it looks a little twisted right now because the front of this is kind of sunk down with that flat tire. So I will have to replace that, but I think I can do that fairly cheaply. I'm not sure if this is actually considered a hay wagon. It was advertised that way, but it actually has a hydraulic cylinder under the front, and it's actually like a dump bed, and it's supposed to lift up so that the load can slide off. So I don't know if it's designed that way for hay or for something else, but I think it'll work out just fine for us collecting hay this year. Well, I thought I'd make a quick video today and maybe show you some of the stuff that we'd actually bought over the last couple months. Stuff that's going to help us try to get our goals done this year, maybe be a little more efficient at it. And I've already got the solar charger out here. I had it sitting back over there, but it ended up getting in the shade, so I moved it again, trying to get that battery all charged up and ready. Probably actually get that out and use it, maybe get the goats out on pasture tomorrow, give them some fresh grass, try to use that electric netting for the goats that are back there at the livestock barn. But anyway, I've got the brats on the grill, cooking them up for supper, and I think I'm just gonna chill and relax the rest of the evening. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Like you got something. Yep. Another one. Catching these things all day, aren't you?
Yeah. 12 today.
12?
Yeah.
12 bass, about that size today so far.
Yeah, this one's probably a little bit smaller, but
yeah, it looked like a couple inches smaller.
Yeah. Yep. Look, puppy. I caught one.
Oh, Scout, come here. Come here. He's still alive. Come here. Come here, Scout. No. No. Give me the fish. Scout, come on. Stop.
Scout.
No. No. Come here. Oh.
Sit down. Sit.
You're going to get him all dirty. Sit. Stop. Stop.
Hey.
Stop. Scout.
Hey.
Scout, stop. Stop. Stop, Scout. 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 Scout, stop. Drop the fish. Drop it.
Hey.
Drop it.
Sit. Sit. Let go of the fish. Okay. All right. Hold on.
Let me get him. How was the ride there, buddy?
The dog's like the fish.
You can't. You took it right out of your hand. You're the one that tried to show him
I
the
was
fish.
showing him the fish.
Yeah, he took it right from you.
I know. He's fast.
Yeah, he jumped right up. You think he's gonna try to jump and get it out of my hand, aren't you? So it looks like the new fillet knife that I just got, I'm gonna be able to try it out tonight. Because Rebecca caught a bunch of fish. Now I caught a couple of these, but I think we got 10 bass in there to fillet up tonight. And we'll probably freeze those and save those for another day. So that ended up being 11 bass to fillet up. So that's 22 fillets. So we'll end up with 3 packages of fish fillets that we'll freeze, and that'll be 3 different meals. Yeah, we'll try not to give this one to the dogs. Pliers, way down in there. You want mine? I got my Leatherman. All right, that's lucky number 13 right there. That means you gotta catch another one. Watch it, she'll jump up.
I know. I gotta
Give me your pole.
reel my reel in.
Give me your pole.
They'll jump from my hook too.
Yeah.